Hello, business analyst friends. Welcome to CareersTalk. I'm Sunan Sharma, an agile consultant based in Netherlands. And to support our BA community, we are excited to bring you the first ever YouTube live simulation series covering all the activities performed by business analysts from start to finish in a project. And what makes this course unique is that we are combined theoretical explanation of the key concepts with the live simulation. So showing how things happen in real project. So friends, if you missed our previous session, I highly suggest to check them out. The link are in the description. And before we dive in, a small request. Our team puts countless hours of efforts to bring these sessions to life. We would greatly appreciate your support in the form of likes, comments, and sharing these sessions with your WhatsApp groups and LinkedIn network. Your support means world to us. So friends, let's begin today's session on the topic requirement analysis and prioritization. And joining us for this session is Samir, who will walk us through the theory and then lead the live simulation. So Samir, over to you.
All right, thanks, Shanant. So good evening, everyone. I'm Samir Mohanty. I do have around 15 plus years of experience and working as a business analyst for quite some time. So today's topic is about prioritization techniques. So that is something we are going to discuss in detail. There are so many prioritization technique in the market, but it depends like what is the basic needs or how does what is exactly your project needs in terms of the prioritization. So allow me to share my screen in a while, and after that I'm going to take you over all those details. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now. So let me put in the presentation mode. Okay, so the topic for today is the prioritization technique. And this is what I thought would be a good fit in terms of the agenda. So what are the different techniques and what is mostly a prioritization technique, right? So we should first discuss about that. As all of us are working in a agile world, so putting a prioritization technique is very crucial, not only from the business point of view, but it also helps the IT team to deliver the right work at the right time. So we, when we do prioritize, okay, this is the topmost priority item, and after that, this item followed by this item. Then it also helps the team to know the priority based on which they can deliver the item, and it also helps them to stay focused to the most important task. So there are several, as I just mentioned, starting of this discussion, right? So there are several techniques or methods out there which we can employ as a prioritization technique for our epics or for our features, but it depends like what best suit to the project. So I'm going to walk you through to the most commonly used some of the techniques, and also I'm going to give you a detailed analysis of the WSJF technique, which is a widely used prioritization technique. So the next one, now these are the four different types of technique we are going to use. One is the Moscow, one is the Kano technique, $100 technique. Then last would be the WSJF, which stands for weighted shortest job first. Starting with Moscow, so Moscow prioritization, as the name suggests, I think pretty much all of you might have already heard about it, or could be a very common prioritization technique. So must have, should have, could have, or won't have, right? So I think it is pretty self-explanatory. Must have for an epic, meaning what are the critical requirements that must be implemented for the project to be success. So if we say, okay, this is the final output I want to get in my project. So what are the epics are there, which there is no other substitute or alternative without those features. So that is something we say is a must-have feature. And should have is something, well, it is important, but not that critical. So you can say it's good to have for the project executions, but it can be deferred. It can be neglected. Then that's what it said that it should have. I mean, if we can bring in within the time constraint, within the project, within that specific budget, then it's a good to have feature, but it's not that mandate like the way we just spoke about must have feature. Could have is again, it's a desirable feature, but that can enhance the project, but it's not that critical. Won't have is something that the items for that project that won't be implemented in the current phase, but maybe it can be considered in the future depending on the project scope. So you can say this is the least priority item for a Moscow technique. And when there is an won't have features, then and if the project timeline doesn't support on that one, then most of the time the project can go with must have, should have, and it could have, and the won't have features mostly they can put in the backlog when sometime for the future. So it depends, like if the business wants this to be implemented, you can always refactor, but it's not something very crucial to be taken care of. So let's go through an example. For example, we want to build an e-commerce website. So for the e-commerce website, the must-have features, if you say that, well, I am the owner of the e-commerce business, and I do have a website for my users. So my users must be able to browse the products and add them to the shopping cart, right? Because unless the users land to my website and they don't browse the products and then don't shop over there, then I cannot improve, or I cannot reach to the business goal that I have. So that comes under the must-have features. The second thing could be as soon as the users add the products to the shopping cart, they should be able to check out, and they should be able to make that purchase. And there should be a secure way, because there is always a transactions involved. So in terms of authenticating the user, the right set of authorizations, speaking about the payment gateway. So those are the features makes an end-to-end journey for an user to land in my website, do some shopping, adding to the cart, and then doing the transactions in terms of monetary, all those monetary things, and then finally able to successfully check out, right? So those are the items. Unless it's there, a user cannot finish its shopping. So that's why it's a must-have features for any e-commerce website. If you come to the should have features, then okay, so you can log in as a guest, and then you can always do the shopping and also check out. So user, and we give a feature, right? The user should be able to create some account for the personal shopping experience. So if my users are landing, or let's say one of my user is landing to my homepage and doing some shopping for kids section, then if the user has an account, then I can the next time the user lands in, I can give him some personalized shopping experience. Okay, these are the items, probably something interest for the users. So that's a should have feature, but that's not a must have. So you can still continue without creating an account in my website, but then in order to have a personalized shopping experience, it's good to have, right, some user accounts created. The website, the second one, if I can say, the website should include a search functionality to help the users with the finding the products quickly. And the second one would be maybe some kind of recommendations depending on what are the products you are searching on the website. Then probably some recommendation I can put next to you. All right, it is something could be interest for you. So those are the ones we say should have, that brings more business or more kind of user interactions, and the users could be interested. But again, that has the that has a slightly less priority than the must have features. Could have is again a less priority than the should have. So these are the desirable features, and it's good to, or it would be nice to have them, but that's not so essential for the project to get success. Again, for a e-commerce website, so implementing an user review. So if the user is able to put some review and ratings, then looking at those review and ratings, maybe I can have more new users. So this is kind of a could have features. So it's always definitely is desirable, because if it's a new user to the e-commerce website, and if they're not aware of the product, then probably looking at the reviews, they can end up buying that product. So it's a desirable feature, but not so essential if we compare to the must have and should have things. The next one is kind of a won't have, as I mentioned, that these features won't be implemented in the current phase of the project because we don't see a potential business or high business value looking at those features, but it can be considered in the future, meaning if there is no priority other task, and also we can always enhance the features within my e-commerce website. So something not for now but for the future, and it can be kept in the backlog, so depends when you want to move it back, play it around within the sprint. But of course it's not, or probably definitely not, the very high pressing items if you compare the other three. So some of the example, like implementing a mobile app version for the e-commerce platform. Well, I can give a mobile app for my users. It can make the user journey pretty small, but if it is not getting implemented, then probably it's not the end of the world. So my users can still log in using the web URL, and they still do the shopping and doing all sort of transactions that they want. But giving a mobile app can make it more easy for them. So it can bring some business, but it depends, like what is the priority for the project. So something for future, as I mentioned, but not for now. So, like what we just explained, these are the ones in a one slider I have mentioned. So, must have, should have, could have, and won't have. But yeah, let's go to the next technique, which is the Kano technique. Again, it's a pretty widely accepted prioritization technique. So, we categorize bringing on the features into three types. One is basic need, second is the performance need, and third is the excitement needs. So it helps us to identify and prioritize the features based on the customer satisfaction, and based on those feedbacks we have to prioritize the things, and it also has an impact on the product value. So let's go with an example. For example, like, in context of developing a mobile phone, right? So what is the basic fundamental requirement when we are developing a mobile phone? So maybe the basic needs is that it should have a reliable battery life. uh, then the customer expect the phone to have a sufficient battery and it lasts for throughout the day. So the dissatisfaction will occur if the battery life is short, or maybe within a 1 or 2 hours if the battery is getting dry, then that's probably not a happy customer. So the basic need, as I mentioned, depending on the user needs or satisfactory or dissatisfaction, we have to put their priority in this kind of technique. So the basic needs is something I can say battery life when we are developing in context of a mobile phone. Performance need is like high quality camera. So you can give a camera of 2 megapixel. You can also give a camera of 13 megapixel. But the more you can give as a feature, then the customer expectations would be, well, I have this camera quality in the same price tag, but it helps me to take some clear and high resolution photos. Then probably this is something in terms of performance of my product. So that is a performance needs. Again, the better the performance, the more the customer, and it goes in a vice versa. So we this is also a this is not a as prior than the basic needs, but performance needs is the second level when you talk about the Kano technique. So more the performance of my product, then that will definitely end up a more number of business users. The excitement need is something that these are the unexpected features that can delight the customers if we have that within the product, but that don't cause the dissatisfaction when it is absent, or let's say it's not within the product because the customer didn't demand that one. It is more of that I provide them, which can bring some excitement to the users. So if you talk about AR features, right? So incorporating the AR features in the phone's camera app for the fun and creative experiences, like there are different applications has come up. So the customer may not expect this, but if it is present, that it can create some positive surprises. And the more and more features, because it's a competitive market for in a mobile world, so the more and more exciting features that brings more customer satisfactions. And the next one is the indifferent needs, that customizable phone case color. So while some customers may appreciate the option to choose from different customer color, but many will not care about the feature. Many will just care about, well, I can have a phone case to put my phone inside that, but be it in one color, multicolor, and also it's not, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care about that. So these are the features that significantly don't impact the customer satisfaction if they're present or absent. But it is, again, that's why we said it's an indifferent needs, list priority. But again, if you want to, if your project scope does allow you, then it's good to have, but definitely not a very important or pressing subject if we talk about the previous three methods. Then the reverse needs is more about, these are the features that if present might cause some dissatisfaction, but if it is absent, that can lead to satisfaction. Let's say if the phone bombard users with constant and intuitive notifications, it can lead to a lot of dissatisfaction, because I keep on getting a lot of the notifications every here and then. So that's something I would personally not like that, and that's how it will lead to dissatisfactions. So if it is not there, then it can bring my satisfaction level. So that's why we call it as the reverse needs in the Kano technique method. So those are the one within the Kano technique, and yeah, depending on the basic needs, your must have. So those are the items that we really need to take care. And the way I just explained, if we focus on those way for the product, then I think it will really help you to put what feature under what needs. Then based on that, you can always align like what priorities should best fit for your product. Next one is the third one in the list is the $100 technique. It's a fairly straightforward. So it's also a very simple prioritization method, just like a budget approach. So the idea is to allocate, let's say, a budget of $100 to various tasks or features or requirement in terms of their importance, right? So let's say there are 5 tasks, and or if you are assigning $100 to those 5 tasks, maybe to one of the tasks you can assign $50, because that's the most priority task. But the other one is just a $5 or it's a $10, because it is good to have. Or let's say I can I mean, it's not that something I needed pretty urgent or pretty important for a business as a point of view, but it's good to have that one. So that's why the priority is pretty less. So let's go to an example in terms of that. So here is a simple example. So let's say there are 5 tasks is there. So the topmost one is the $30, because that's the highest priority one. Then task B is $25. It's a medium priority. Then I align task C is a $20. It's a low priority. $15, it's a, again, between, there is no very much difference between $20 and $5, but that's why $15 is a low priority, but still then it's required for my product. And $10 is the lowest priority, which of course I can delay the delivery to a certain extent. But when if you compare between task A and task let's say D or E, then obviously A is the topmost priority, meaning it is definitely a task which has to be completed on the as early as possible, but I can delay about task D or task C. So that's why this is a fairly straightforward, fairly simple technique, but it depends on your team's maturity in terms of thinking about, like, well, how does this task and what is the business demands, right? So if the business demands this feature is a no-go, so I mean, definitely without this feature I cannot proceed releasing my product, then that comes under task A category, which is the highest priority. So accordingly, you have to take a relative importance of the task, and then you can allocate the budget after speaking with the relevant stakeholders, and that's how you can come up to like what are the features you want to deliver first, and what are the features that you can always delay for a certain time. All right, so we are going to see the next prioritization technique, which is called WSJF. So it is weighted shortage job first technique. Very popular. Almost pretty much everyone uses that for the prioritization and all. It is associated is with the SAFe agile framework. I'm also going to share my screen, which would be helpful for you. Yeah, you should be able to see my screen now. So the weighted shortage job first is a prioritization technique quite often associated with the SAFe agile framework, and it is designed to help large or big organizations to scale up and apply the agile and lean practices. Mostly it is used to prioritize the features, epics, or any sort of such initiatives that is based on economic considerations. So we are going to see how the WSJF really works. So for that one, I'm going to share my an Excel spreadsheet, and it will be easy for you to understand, like based on what factors we calculate the WSJF, or let's say at the end how we calculate the priority based on this prioritization technique. So we need to consider three parameters or three factors. One is your business value. Second one is the time criticality. And the third one is the risk reduction and opportunity enabler. So the names are pretty self-explanatory, meaning user business value, like what sort of value this particular epic brings on if we prioritize, let's say one of the epic is user management. So, and then the next one is the time criticality, like how critical it is to be executed on time. If we are going to delay that, will it, or let's say, are the stakeholders going to wait for it, or are we going to, is our competitors going ahead of that if we delay this particular epic? So all those things are being calculated by the factor called time criticality. And the next one is the risk reduction or opportunity enabler, meaning what are the risks we are going to reduce if you enable this epic, let's say user management on time, or what are the opportunity probably we are going to miss if we delay this particular epic. So these are the three crucial factors or informations we get from our identified stakeholder. But again, if user business value for user management for one of this, or for let's say stakeholder A, it could be 5, but for stakeholder B, it could be 8, right? So that's why we always roll out a planning poker to get the average, or let's say what the maximum number of users are saying for this particular user business value for any of those epic. So after running the planning poker, let's say the average, or most of them say it's a, for example, it's an 8. So we're going to put an 8. Similar way for the time criticality, if they say it's going to be 5, so we're going to say 5. And for risk reduction opportunity enabler, let's call it as an 5. So the cost of delay is the main factor. So as you can see, user business value, addition time criticality, addition risk reduction. So the addition of these three factors is the cost of delay, right? So this is the total that we calculate. Now the next factor, which is pretty important for the WSJF technique, is the job size, meaning like what is the effort, like what is the development effort by the IT team if we are going to play this specific epic called user management. So someone from the, let's say the solution architect, someone from the technical architect or the enterprise architect join on behalf of the tech team and say, hey, to execute this particular epic, I'm going to take 8 pointer. So we are going to put job size for this one as an 8. Once you have the cost of delay and once you have the job size, then the WSJ formula is defined by cost of delay, which is a relative number, divided by the job size, which is also a relative number. So 18 by 8 or 18 divided by 8 is 2.25. All right, so the similar way we have to also do for the other two epics, and then only we can know how we are going to prioritize these three epics there. Let's say the order management, user business value, and time criticality. I'm going to put some random number. I mean, obviously, you have to run the planning poker, but just with interest of time, I'm going to put it here. Let's say 5, 5, 8, and then let's say we call it as a 5 from the dev team. And then for the payment integrations, we are going to put, let's say, 8, 8, 8, and then the cost of delay comes as 24. Job size, let's call it as another 8. So now, for if you see the WSJF for this 3 epic, user management final WSJF score is 2.25, order management 3.6, payment integration is 3. Now, the highest of WSJF is the topmost priority, or that's the next item we have to prioritize in our backlog. So if you can compare between 2.25, 3.6, and 3, then the priority highest is the 3.6. So that comes the priority 1. Then the payment integration comes as the priority 2, and followed by the last one is the user management, which is 2.25, is 3. That's the prioritization technique, or that's the beauty of this WSJF technique. Because if you see about this three epic in general, someone can say, "Hey, user management, order management, the payment sounds pretty critical. Maybe that should be the topmost one." But once you gather the information from the stakeholder or get the relative number of points in terms of against each of this epic, and then you calculate as per this formula that you see on my screen, then you get the exact relative priority, and that's also in agreement with the stakeholder. So then it makes it easy for the business as well as for the IT to prioritize and deliver, right? So order management has to be executed first, followed by payment integration, and then the last we have to do is the user management. Similar way you can do for if you have more epics, obviously you can follow the same principle, and then finally you can calculate what is the WSJF. Then at the end you can calculate the priority as per the number that you get after applying the formula. All right, so that's pretty much all the crucial techniques or prioritization techniques that we discussed. I hope that that is clear to you, or in case you have any questions or any concern, or if you have any more feedback, please feel free to comment on this video. And at the same time, if you want such kind of template, if you want our help to generate such template for you, do not hesitate to reach out or let us know in the comment sections. So I hope that it is easy for you now to understand the prioritization technique and how we do it for all those four important techniques that we discussed. So with that note, thank you so much for listening to me, and back to you, Sunan.
Okay, thanks Samir for sharing all these prioritization techniques. So friends, let's move on to our live simulation where Samir as a business analyst will interact with our stakeholders to prioritize the requirement. So over to you, Samir.
Thank you, Sunand, for giving the platform. And once again, welcome you all. Good evening. And as we all discussed in our last session was mostly about the requirement analysis session with the stakeholders and all. So allow me to share my screen in a while. You should be all able to see the requirement elicitation collection template.
Yeah, we
So
can see that. Yeah.
thank you, Sunan, for the confirmation. So in the last session, you all provided your inputs, like what are the what are the top priorities that you have. You shared also your feedback, and we asked a lot of questions in terms of like what exactly is your needs for the business, and depending on all those discussions and all. So these were the requirements mostly we collected in form of a template. And based on that one, we also discussed after the meeting with our team, and we also spoke to Ramya, and also to get the also spoke to Divya to get the confirmations, and we have received the confirmations that the requirement that's mentioned in the template are correct, and we can proceed with that one. So in front of you, that's the confirmations from Divya. So we are good on that one now. So based on these requirements that we collected, we have come up with a high level epics. When I say epics, these are the one in front of you. So let's say product management, features, view product, user management, order management, payment integration, and delivery management. So if we cover these high level features, then most of the requirement that we all discussed in the last session, that will be covered up. But then we have also drilled down, like what are the top three, mostly from a high business value, then that comes of user management, order management, and payment integration. Again, it's based on the discussions of feedback that you had shared in the last session. So those three will be taking to our prioritization template. On my screen is the prioritization template that you can see, but probably a few of you would be asking like, what is this WSJF? And for them, allow me to explain that one. So WSJF stands for weighted shortage job first, meaning what is the cost of delay, and that is again it's a relative number by divided by the job size, that is also a relative number. So we'll be in this particular sessions, we'll be using this prioritization method because there are several prioritization technique, but to this business needs, this will be the most appropriate, and that's why let's go ahead with the WSJF technique. So we'll be collecting the user business value. So you as a stakeholder, what is the business value that brings if we take user management as one of the epic? What is the time criticality for that one? Meaning how the business value decays over the time, and that really matters in terms of calculating the time criticality. Then the risk reduction and opportunity enabler, meaning if we enable this epic, then what is the opportunity we'll be creating for this business, and what is the risk that we can reduce by enabling these epics. So if we get these three inputs from you in terms of your scoring, for which we'll be having a planning poker, then we get the cost of delay, and that is what you can see on my numerator. And the job size, which is Saheli from our tech team, she has joined to give a tentative estimate, because he has also discussed with her team that what could be a tentative estimate in terms of the development. And then we get the job size, which is a relative number. So if we divide the cost of delay and the job size, then we get the WSJF. So the highest WSJF will be the getting the topmost priority. And then that also helps not only from the business, like to get the right priority set, but it also helps the IT team to deliver the right product at the right time. So are we all clear until now? Or if any one of you has any questions, then please feel free to ask, because it really pretty important that you being the stakeholder before you score each of these user business value, time criticality, or opportunity enabler, then you should really understand what are they. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them as well.
Yes, Samir, I think we are good. You have already covered all this in theoretical part. Yeah, thank you. We can move ahead.
All right. So in that case, thanks, Sunant. In that case, let's proceed with our first epics, which is the user management. So I have provided on my chat, I have provided a planning poker. You can use that one, or mostly you can get inside that. Let me see if all of you are already part of it. Yes, I can see. Uh,
Samir, you can also share that user manual, some description, something like that.
okay,
Do
give me
you
a
have
second.
that?
Not now, Sunant. I don't have that one. You meaning to say this one?
Yeah, description of user management, like this epic is about.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the epics, okay, user management, what are the key features that we are covering is mostly the sign in with Google, sign in with Twitter, and sign up with Facebook. So when you are going to calculate the user management, please keep in mind those are the things we are going to cover on a high level. So thanks for reminding, Sunant. So that's how when you are giving the relative estimate against each of these that we discussed, please ensure that that's covered. All right, so let's try to first get into our first one, which is the uh, session. Give me a second. Minimize this for now.
Yeah, you can share
Yeah,
that link
I think
screen.
it should be visible now. Okay. So let's.
No, I can see your Excel sheet only.
Are you able to see in the business value?
I can just see your, yeah, I can see just Excel sheet only, not that planning poker
Oh,
screen.
okay. I think there is a small. How about now?
Yeah,
Is it
now, yeah,
okay?
now we can see it. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, there's a small glitch, I guess, in the Zoom, but if you are able to see now. So the first one that we are going to do, as I mentioned, that we are going to talk about the user management, and I have showed to you that what are the features that we are going to cover under this epic. And for that one, please give your relative estimate for the user business value, right? That how critical this particular feature for you is, and then accordingly, we'll take the discussion from there. So over to you. You can put on your number, and then I will be revealing most probably. Yes, I can see Divya, Mosam, Nishant, Vinodini has already given up. So may as well. Thank you. Saheli, Bishma, if you would like to proceed. All right. Perfect. Thank you. I think pretty much everyone has given, so allow me to reveal that number. Okay, so we do have, or let's say pretty much all our stakeholders agrees between 5, but I also see Divya, you have given on a higher side 8. So probably we are missing some of the features, probably which you have thought of, Divya. Would you like to discuss? Would you like to enlighten us, like what made you think about an 8 for this epic?
Okay. So first of all, user management is a very critical feature for e-commerce business. So it includes various roles and responsibilities of different users that need to be managed. In the sense, you will have an account for the seller, you will have an account for the buyer. At the same time, you will have an admin role where you have to modify the data from the back end. So these are the different roles, and at the same time, you have to think about the security logins as well. So I thought this is a very critical feature for any e-commerce site to log in and manage the data, and as well as to have a security, because most of the data is to be fed at this point of the time, whether it be a user or a seller. So that's where I feel this should be having a highest business value. Yeah.
Okay. And I see, Binodini, you have given a low estimate. So if you'd like to speak about it.
Yes, Amit, thank you for that. I've given least is because I am just looking for an user entry into our website in a very simpler way. I just need um not to complicate the user. Our target is to navigate the user to our website and give them a quality apparels, right? So basically, I don't want to make the user stuck in the front page and then get rid of all sort of authentication and make the things complex. I'm just looking for a straightforward sign in with social media accounts, passwordless accounts, and either they can authenticate with their mobile number and OTP, or they can directly go into a passwordless social media account and then just get into the site. So that's the important thing, and the integration of this would already, since we have a website in place, I would see just a few modification on our current existing system of user management would actually satisfy our needs, not to complicate too many authentication and stuck the user over there. Yeah, that's my point, and that's why I gave a lesser one. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now that sounds pretty interesting because we have also the same thoughts, or at least that also gives an insights like what is your thought process while you provide this number in terms of the criticality of this particular epic. But I see most of also our stakeholders has given an 5, which is in between 8 and 2 that both Divya and Vinodini have provided. So keeping in mind that this might can also be, because this will be the first time we'll be also going to develop this particular epic, there could be new features that we can enable within that epic. So I think as most of us are agreed to a 5, so we can proceed with an 5 for this particular feature that, and then it gives a healthy estimate for this epic. All of you do
Um,
agree to me if we can go with a 5?
Samir, I think I would like to pitch in here and speak about
Sure.
supporting Divya with respect to the points. That is because, how many of the users really are today okay to really sign up for everything. As Vinodini mentioned, we do have the social media like Google, Facebook, everything. But there is something called as OAuth 2.0, which is more secure. And user need not share their password with our application. Our application in turn sends a key to Google, for example, if they want to sign in via Google, and we just share the key mechanism here on a very high level. I'm speaking, not to speak too much technically here. So but when we speak about the implementation aspect, right, we require more API integration things, more complicated JSON things. So I think it requires more effort from the development perspective. And speaking of the security of the users, I think that is of top concern for us. So I
Okay.
will go with 8 points if you ask
All
me.
right. Yeah. Okay. if that is the, I think pretty much you also align being a stakeholder. So I think we can go at 8 because there is a lot of features that you mentioned that security auth 2.0 is also a new one, and as a lot of cyber security issues happens, so we have to make our environment quite safe for our users. So keeping that in mind, let's go ahead with 8 for the user business value for this particular point, and then the next one is the time criticality, which I have just explained the definitions. So I'm going to reset it for you. So can you all please go ahead and put the time criticality points against this epic? Yes, I see Mosum Sunand has already recorded that number. Great. So I think pretty much everyone is getting into that. So perfect. Soumya, would you like to?
Yeah, sure. I'm doing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we have everyone. Allow me to reveal that one, and here you go. Okay, so it sounds like again it's a 5 between 5 and 8. So can I just invite Divya for you because you are on a high side in terms of estimation. So would you like to give your insights, please?
Yes, Samir. As I said, it is a very critical feature. When we say time criticality, at this point, how critical it is. As we all are aware of the poor performance of the website as of now, and we also notice that there is a problem in the users logging into the site. Maybe the site is down, or they might not be able to have that seamless sign in. So for us to relaunch this website or revamp and do a new one, at this point, at this moment, it is very critical for us to have that user data in place. So for that, user sign in is needed. So, and even from the seller's perspective, if you think we are not having a proper data of the sellers in order to manage the fraudulent activities that happen most of the days on the e-commerce business nowadays, right? So I would see this as a very critical feature as of now. So for us to revamp and start from the scratch, this would be a very critical feature to start with. So that's the reason I have given 8.
All right. Binodini, can we also get your input? I see a are between 5 and 8, but of course, what do I see that most of the stakeholders has given on 5. So probably uh, you can voice the sentiment for all our stakeholders, but over to you, Binodini. Would like to hear your thoughts as well.
Sure. Again, coming to the same point, since we have an existing application in place, we don't have to develop something from the scratch, and we can pretty much use the existing APIs and the integration which is available, and then pitch in a few more add-ons as mentioned by Ramya and Divya. So, from development's perspective and the time frame, I felt 5 would be appropriate for this.
Okay, yeah, that sounds also realistic, and we can definitely fit in the points that was shared by Divya. And as I see that most of the stakes has given on 5, so I think we can, for this particular time criticality, we can go with on 5, and then I'm gonna put against it 5. Then the risk reduction and the opportunity enabler. So I'm going to reset it for you once again, and over to you. Okay. All right. See, all of our stakeholders have provided their input. So reveal the now. All right. That's a straight cut 5. So that means all our stakeholders do agree that 5 is the good estimation. So thank you, everyone. And I'm going to put risk reductions because as all of us are agree, so I think 5 is gone. So we're not going to take a talk on that one. So the total cost of delay for the Epic user management comes around 18, as you can see on my screen. And then I would really like to invite Saheli, who is from our tech architect and who is our tech architect from the tech side. She has a team of quite dedicated data engineers and who can enable these things for you. So Saheli, we would like to hear your inputs for the job size for the user management Epic. Over to you, Saheli.
Yeah, thank you, Samik. So for me, like after discussing with my team, we have come up for user management as 8 because as Vinodini, Divya all have mentioned that our main focus will be kind of login through social media. So social media, that means like Gmail, Google, Twitter, Facebook. It's a broader site. So for Gmail and Google, it's still fine, but for Twitter and Facebook, we need to be very cautious about the auth integration with the additional complexity, because there is some specific API limitations with the Twitter, and also for Facebook there is some token expiration permission we required. So considering all these areas, my team have come up with the story point as 8 for user management.
All right, quite insightful. Any of the stakeholders does have any question for Saheli if you'd like to know about this estimation?
Okay. Sahili, I just wanted to reconfirm that when you say integration with your social media sites or whatever maybe, as we discussed in our session, you are considering the different roles which we have already mentioned here, right?
Yes, Divya, definitely. We have considered role-based control to our user management. So seller, buyer, everyone we have taken into consideration while doing that job site.
Just a small input as well. So coming from for the security perspective, maybe I'm not sure how the tech team works on it. Will it goes only with two-factor authentication, or maybe sometimes there is a opportunity of QR code or whatever maybe. So I would expect that kind of authentication in our first release, maybe at least one kind of an authentication should be there, so that it gives good insights for the user when they log in and they feel secure, mostly from the seller's perspective and the other things. So I would suggest, if you're considering even that as well, if it is 8, I'm all okay with it.
Yeah, like as I mentioned that authentication 2.0 we have considered. So yeah, like there will be mostly first your password, and then in some cases the OTP will be generated in your registered mobile or email, and you have to log in through that. There will be two-way, two-key generation for the login. But yeah, for QR code, we have not included this for this release. Maybe we can consider it from the going forward.
Okay, that's great, Sahili. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Saheli and Divya. Quite insightful. So we're going to have job size at 8 as confirmed by Saheli. That comes as I mentioned, the formula, the weighted saturation job first is 2.25 for this particular epic. All right, so let's move on to the next epic, which is the order management. And the similar way you did for the user management, please put on your score for order management, but the first one would be the user business value. So I'm going to reset it for you once again. Allow me a second. Here you go. Okay, this great. So we are waiting for Sunant and Nishant. Would you like to share your inputs? All right. Okay, we have everyone. So let me reveal it for now. Okay, so it's between 8 and 5, but 8 are Mosam on a high side. And okay, so Mosam, would like to hear from you about your input for this particular feature, why you think 8 is on the high side. So over to you, Mosam.
Yeah, thanks, Ami. So, according to me, like order management feature is a very critical feature for e-commerce website, because we need to look into the customer satisfaction and overall business process. So for that, we need to work upon the order processing, the customer experience, inventory management, data insights, because we also need to check centralize the order data so that enable the business and analyze sales trends, so that we can give good customer experience. When we analyze the order, we have to also work on the inventory management for this order management, so that we can see that we never run out of stocks. We are not under stock, and we are not promising false. So we need to keep uh, from adding up the product to the completing the order, and we need to look upon whether we are in stock, out stock, what the customer is ordering, we are delivering the correct product. So it involves a lot of things which need to be taken care of. And also, like, there are data breach risk also involved. We need to work upon that, and it is a like highly scalable uh, feature, epic you can say, which needs to be handled very critically. That order management, this also comes when, let's say, we have peak seasons. So we need to make our product, make our website up to the mark, to handle, to adapt to crucial peak seasons or rapid business expansion we need to do, because we are in the fashion industry. We do have sales, we do have festive times, so that time we need to handle us. So for that we need rigorous testing, validation. So I think that it is a critical and very highly big feature, big epic. So we need to work upon that. We need to look into the user experiences challenges, like poorly designed, if an order management is poorly designed, that can give us a negative customer satisfaction. So I think that is
Okay.
a big one. So we need to work upon it, and I think 8 is a correct one for me, according to me.
Okay. No, fully agree to that, Mosam. But I also see that some of our stakeholders have probably pretty much rest all stakeholders has provided 5. So maybe can I get your inputs as well, Divya, if you'd like to share with?
Okay. Yeah. So I completely agree with Mosam that it's a very critical feature and that needs to be managed very well. As we see, order management deals with taking up the orders, arranging shipments, and then having the customer support. So as of now, we are actually given the shipment and the customer support. Yeah, customer support is in house, which we are already having it, and logistics, which we're taking. I mean, picking the order and delivering is what we have. Third party. Handling it. So as of now, we are just integrating our order that is being placed with the inventory management to check whether the status of the order it presents or not. So that's the reason it has given 5, because the business value as of now, still there is more which we have to achieve, is what we should able to integrate the logistics. I mean, where the order is, the customer is should be able to track the order as well in from our website, which is not happening as of now. Okay, this is in the next release which we have planned. So as of now, we are just trying to integrate with our inventory management system to see whether the order the customer has ordered is available or not. So that's the reason I have given 5 business value, because there is still something we need to achieve it in the coming up releases. So that's the only thing which made me to give 5. Rest all I agree with Mausam. Yeah.
Perfect. And also, if I can also share my share, probably I could have also shared it with you before. But our management, what we try to achieve in the upcoming sprint is the art to cart, place order, and the place order and remember. And as Divya rightly mentioned, it is also about the integration. So we are pretty confident that with these features and under this epic, and in terms when it comes to the integrations, we can still achieve it within this 5. So I think most of our stakeholders do agree to that one. So with that, if all of you are agreeing, then probably we can go ahead with the 5 for this order management. Okay, I think pretty much everyone agrees. Are you okay as well, Mosam? You have
Yeah, that looks good to me, Samir.
okay. Thank you. Awesome. So we are going to put 5 here, and I'm going to reset it for you once again for the time criticality. Great. We have everyone. So let me. Great. So it is between 5 and 8. And I see, Vinodini, you have provided an 8. Would you like to say anything about it?
Yeah. So yes, since it's a complex feature, and the moment we the revenue, the stock, and everything comes into picture when it comes to order management, right? So, and the current existing system is not so great, and we would definitely need a lot of improvements with respect to handling this, and also integrating the new AI into picture. And also maybe we would also need an artificial intelligence integration to see where the users are navigating more and find out their needs more, basically which apparels they are more interested on, and have a lot of data analysis, and definitely managing the order, and making them into pushing them to the cart would be the major purpose of our website. So I think this would need enough time to have a lot of discussion and the latest technologies and items to be integrated with the system. So I would say this needs a lot of attention, and that's the reason I've given the maximum.
Yeah, very nice insights, Vinodini. I mean, we are just starting with the basic features for now, which I just presented, and I think probably that's why pretty much all the stakeholders are provided on 5. But the one that you are saying in terms of integrating with the AI, or mostly making it more dynamic, so the well user placing an order, it can be a seamless journey. That is something coming up for the upcoming sprints and all. So this is the basic features in terms of adding to the cart and doing a simple placing an order. So I think with that one we can still achieve within 5, which I can get a sense from rest all the stakeholder. So if all agrees, then probably we can also proceed within 5 for this epic.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can go ahead with 5. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. The next one is the risk reduction opportunity enabler. So I'm very quickly going to reset for you. Here you go. So happy to see that you all pretty much understand the speeches and very quick in terms of estimations. All right. So allow me to reveal it. Great. So it's, I think, more than 95% is a 5 and an 8. Mosam, a last comment was probably a few comments that you could also later enlighten us, like why it's an 8. Do you see any risk in terms of if we delay that, or do you see any potential opportunity having this feature? So maybe we can also think in that line. So what do you, Mosam?
So, yeah, Samir, as we are already having a website, but we are dealing with some performance issues, you can say, or because we are not able to keep up with the market. So, like we have a lot of competitors who are already excelling in this field. So, come up with those competitors to come up in this e-commerce website business, we need to be handling efficiently, managing the order processing and ensuring the timely delivery. So for that we need to work upon this. I think this is of high risk, and I can see lots of other risks too. Like if we are not delivering on faster times, so we need to also track the delivery system. We also need to tackle it to deliver it more fastly what we are delivering right now. Also,
Okay.
the one thing which I missed in my last statement was we need to keep up with the compliances, because every country has some compliance where we need to settle with them, where we need to work according to them. So also need to, there are risks which if not taken care of, that can lead to very high uh, our webs there the image of our website can go down, the customer satisfaction can do, the trust can go down. So it's needs there are risks involved. So what I think that it is of having high risk, and we need to keep it up to a higher level as 8, so that we can look into it, because this is the part where we are actually dealing with the customers. Customers are rating
Okay.
us and reviewing us on the basis of the order, how we are delivering them, what we are delivering them, and how fast we are delivering them. So I think we need to take it as a very critical feature, and the risk we need to keep in mind. So I go with 8.
All right. No, it also opens up some door, like yeah, some of the features maybe the kind of opportunity we are going to lose might be it's enormous. So would like to hear let's take some input from you, Divya. Would you also like to proceed with an 8, or you'd still proceed the kind of feedback we have received from Mosam? Still, do you think it's okay? Maybe that gives us some kind of health statement to proceed further.
Okay. One opportunity which we might lose is what that I say when Mawsam says that we have to meet the demand in festive seasons and all. We are not integrating as of now the logistics, the third party logistics into our website. So that's where the opportunity risk would be when we have a high peak seasons. So
All
but
right.
still when we are doing that, we have to consider how do we even the technical ability as well, how can we integrate with our present systems. Okay, so that is something, the infrastructure and everything that we have to do it, infrastructure and all the other things we need to take into consideration, technical infrastructure ability and all. So so as of now that would be an opportunity cost or risk I could see. And as with the when we see our initial releases, I would say this is fine because as of now we are able
Yeah.
to manage the deliveries. Okay,
Correct.
we are
Yeah.
able to manage the deliveries, and seeing that seamless login and ordering the things should go fine. As of now, the website itself was not having a good performance, and we were facing many difficulties. But we are maintaining the seamless journey for the user to order it, right? So maybe till that for now it would be okay. But still I would consider Mawsom's point saying that
Okay.
yeah, I don't see there is a much difference between 5 and 8.
Yeah, I think we can proceed with an 8, I mean, if that's the case, because that gives
Yeah,
also a healthy statement, right? Okay.
maybe we would see
Uh, we can
demand
see some
at the time of
opportunities.
festive season, which
Yeah,
customers would not be able to track their
exactly.
orders from our website.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead with
Yes,
an 8
Samir.
because it
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah,
So,
awesome.
yeah. So what I meant there, like what I wanted to point out there, like while logistics are a different part, still we do have data accuracy issues, and we also need to dependent on the technologies, because when we do get a higher order, or when that time we do have risk of data entry, data synchronization, updation of data, or the stocks are, as I told you, that inventory and other things, we have to automate our system. We will have to depend heavily on other systems. So that from that perspective, I was
Yeah,
saying that it
Yeah,
is.
as of now, we are integrating with the inventory, but only the integration with the logistics, the order delivery, where the order is, the customer would not be able to do it. That is actually a risk for us. As of if we
yes.
don't put it in this release, that would be an
Yeah.
opportunity. I mean, that would be a risk for us. And yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a
we
fair
should talk
point.
to a technical team on that. Maybe if they
Correct.
are
Yeah,
okay,
we
then
can
we
do that.
can go ahead with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do see because I mean, some of the opportunity we are definitely going to lose, even though we say we can integrate some of the features in the future. But that also makes sense. Like if you delay it, then there is some opportunity we are going to miss when we take with our competitors. So thank you so much, both Divya and Mosam, for your valuable insights. But now I would like to pitch in to Saheli, if you would like to take some time and let us know your estimations in terms of the job size for our management as per your discussion with your team.
Yeah, so we have come up with the job size as 8 for order management because two type of integration is associated with it: inventory integration and payment integration. So considering that, we have made it as 8.
Okay.
Yeah, here I would like to ask a question to Sahili, that we do have we do have an epic which is related to payment integration. So are we we can consider that estimation separately in payment integration and separately for the order management. So Sahili, could you please explain a bit like why are we considering both in the same, or can we consider both separately? And for this order management, can you give us the estimation?
Yeah, so payment integration here, like, yeah, it is related to order management, and we have considered here that the payment in the sense that when an order is placed, so we made it successful only the when the payment is done. So here we need to make sure that based on the, like, there is a relation between the inventory, and based on the data fetched, on that the payment should be made, right? Because whatever the price or the stock or the checklist are coming, if everything is in sync or not. So when we will be implementing payment integration, mostly the order management payment also will be covered. So after today's discussion, if payment integration is also a part of our first release list of the epics, then I can discuss with my team, and we can see that we can, if we can lower down the job size, because then it will be a duplicate
Yeah.
effort, right? So that time we can, after today's call, I can discuss with my team that whether we can lower down the size or not, and I will get back to you. Is
Sure,
that
sure.
fine?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So because
Yeah.
sorry, go
Sahili,
ahead.
one more thing. As we were just now discussing, I need a favor from you as well.
Hmm.
Whether we can integrate our logistics. I mean, where the customer shipment of the tracking status of the order. We were not aligned on this previously. I know we were just thinking about inventory alignment and seeing whether the order, whether there is a sufficient quantity or not for the customer to order. Only that alignment has been taken. But I would request you to understand and let us know if we can align with the tracking status of that particular order. As Mosam was mentioning, it would be a risk for us if we don't incorporate in this release because of upcoming festive season or sale that is happening.
Yeah, sure, Divya. Since
So
this one just come up while we were discussing this, so I will talk to my team, and I will definitely get back to you whether we can add it. And if we add this, then what will be our final job size?
yeah, sure. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Sahili, Divya, and Mosam. So, based on the discussions, it seems like the relative size should be an 8 because there could be some of the overlap between payment integration and the order management. So, Sahili will speak to her team as well. But looking at the complexity, it seems an 8 would be a suitable one for now. So, with that, we'll proceed to just the top size as 8, and that makes the WSJF as 2.25. All right, the last epic in our series, which is the payment integrations. But before we get into the poker, so allow me to say like what comes under the payment integrations. So we have at least decided the pay by the debit card, pay by credit card, and for international customer who do try to do some shoppings for their near and dear ones, they can also use the pay by PayPal. So those are the things on a high level we are trying to cover up. And then with that note, I'm again going to go to the WSJ port. So the first one, like the way you did for user management or management, please try to do the same for the payment integration. And I'm going to quickly reset the button for you. Give me a second. See. Okay. Yes, you can proceed now. All right. So for the payment integration user business value, the screen is in front of you. Can you put your number? Correct. Let me reveal it. Okay, so majority of our stakeholders do agree it with an 8. So I think we should be going with a business value as 8. For the time criticality, I'm going to reset it again. Yes, please. Going to refill. Once again, majority of our stakeholders do say it's a 8. So we'll go with a 8. The risk reduction and the opportunity we are going to lose in front of you. Okay. Okay. Soumya, would you like to?
Yeah.
Estimate? Perfect. Perfect. So everyone does agree 8 is the one. So that makes it easy. So the risk reduction for payment integrations is 8. That makes the cost of delay as 24. Saheli, once again, over to you. What is the job size as per your discussion with your team?
Yeah, so I would like to give it as 8 after discussing with my team, because we are considering payment with credit card, payment with debit card, and payment with PayPal. Considering credit card and PayPal, external API is required, external validation is required, and for credit card, it required an extensive testing as well, testing effort as well. So after discussing all these areas, we have come up with 8 as job size.
Okay.
Saheli, I have a question here. So why is it you need more testing for credit card?
Yeah, because for credit card, some additional criteria we need to fulfill, like we need to require like a stringent called payment card, industry data transaction has been happened with respect to the other type of payment. So that is the reason, for credit card, that is the other payment process.
Okay. All right. So how much more effort do you need for this credit card integration?
So exactly giving an absolute value will be difficult, but relatively I can say that if suppose debit card and PayPal payment is 3, then you can say that credit card will be 5. So
Okay.
relatively I can say that, but
Okay.
absolute value will be difficult giving. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you very much for the information.
Yeah, thanks, Soumya. And also thanks, Ali, for the input. So it seems like the job size still starts with an 8. So that makes the WSJF for this particular epic as 3. Okay.
Samir,
So yes,
yeah,
Ali.
sorry to interrupt. So one thing I just wanted to add about order management, because last time when we discussed that, I said that I will talk to my team. So during the breakout session, I just talked with my team, and we have discussed that payment integration is the same which we are considering in the order management. I have seen the architecture as well. So considering that effort will be already be covered in payment integration part, so
Okay.
we can now say that we can make it as 3. Sorry, we have given 8, right? Yeah, so 5 we can now give it to
Okay.
order management. Yeah, so can you
Perfect.
change it, please?
Sure thing. I'm going to change it to 5. And I think that's a quite first response, Saheli. So thanks for that one. So that makes the WSJ plus 3.6 from the earlier as 2.25. All right.
Yeah, actually, I would like to ask one question here. So, as we discussed, three aspects: auto management, user management, and payment integration. So,
Mhm.
are you seeing any technical challenge with these effects that we need to discuss here?
Yeah, so like it's bit early to give a definite answer that which module will be the most technically challenging. That is only possible when we actually start working on it. But still, based on my previous experience, I will see that out of these three, payment is gonna be a bit technically complex because we need to consider payment gateway integration, security compliance, multiple payment method, real-time transactions, globalization, like we should be, since multi-currency payment, we need to be taken care of this area. So yeah, so there I feel that we might encounter some challenges which we are not aware maybe right now. So yeah, so I will say at this point, if you ask me, I will say payment.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Vishal. All right, so that pretty much covers all the three epics, which is user management, order management, and payment integration. And now it's time to prioritize that one. So based on all your feedback and the scoring and all those discussions, which is pretty insightful, we have got the WSJ plus 2.25, 3.6, and 3 respectively. So the topmost WSJF will be the highest prior item for us to be executed. So in that sequence, this will be number 1, and WSJF 3 would be the number 2, and then 2.25 WSJF would be the number 3. So I would really like to highlight here that even though starting of the discussions, we thought like, well, payment integration is the most crucial and also the difficult item, just Saheli, just to echo what Saheli mentioned. But if you look the total user business value, time criticality, and the risk reduction or opportunity we are going to lose, it seems like order management is the topmost item for us to execute. And that's the beauty of this prioritization technique, that what we really think, and we gather all the inputs, and that helps us to come off in sort of the formulas, and that also helps us to deliver the right prior item in the sequence. So with that note, I really thank you all for all your valuable inputs, and this item will definitely be taken as part of our backlog and will be executed, and we'll also keep you informed as and when we progress. Once again, thank you so much. I would now like to give this floor back to Sunil.
Okay, thank you, Samir. Yep. So thanks to everyone on this call for making this session so valuable. And I'm sure many aspiring business analysts will learn a lot from it. And to our viewers, please keep watching CareersTalk and share your feedback. And we'll see you in our next session. Thank you, everyone.